Hello, my loves. Welcome to Follicular Day. So, this is part of our Living in Flow series. We're going through a huge gamut this month in what's going on in each phase of our cycle, what are some superpowers in these different phases. I've got this categorized by different topics. Right now, we're in the process of just getting the basics of what each phase of our cycle is and means and does and looks like, feels like. So, yesterday we did the menstrual phase. Today we are doing the follicular phase. So, this is the period of time right after your period. So, as you're finishing your period, your bleed, you're moving into your follicular phase. So yesterday, our last video, we talked about how the menstrual cycle is the winter phase. Follicular is the springtime. All right, so follicular phase. What does that mean? And again, I'm going to be reading this from my book. The follicular phase is your grow and create phase. The follicular phase is a less commonly known part of your cycle. It is called follicular, in part because this is when the follicles in your ovaries are ripening their eggs. This phase is often skipped over, even in communities where members know their cycles, because most women feel good during this phase. It fits better into the patriarchy's version of what we should be feeling or how it feels to be human, as man as the default human. So this is a phase that you feel normal, like you can be yourself. It's because you're getting a lot of good feedback during this phase because you have that more extroverted, socially prized energy than during the rest of your cycle when you have less of that general extroverted time. Hello, Gisela. You're just absolutely popped into the drawing for the charting book, digital copies, because I don't know that I can send real copies right now. Or you can wait for a real copy. I'm happy to do that too. But anyway, I'll be in touch with whomever wins after I go through at the end and figure out who is here live, and we'll do a little giveaway for you guys. And frankly, there's only a couple of you, so you might all just win. Okay. So the follicular phase lasts about 5 to 7 days. It continues until you ovulate. And during this phase, your uterine lining starts to regrow, and about 15 to 20 of the follicles in your ovaries begin to ripen their eggs. So you just lost your uterine lining in your menstrual phase right before this, and now it's starting to regrow. And those follicles, the 15 to 20 follicles in your ovaries, are racing to see who has the best egg to win. During the end of this phase, your estrogen levels rise. One follicle turns out to have the winning egg. The rest of the follicles will stop growing and die. This is when you would move into your ovulation phase, which we'll talk about tomorrow. But during this phase, those follicles are growing. Towards the end of it, one is going to have the winning egg and the rest will die. So this is why you only have one egg typically when you ovulate, unless you have some twinsies. So hormonally, your hormones are rising. So out of the menstrual phase, we're starting to rise into the follicular phase. So a lot of the hormones are rising. Your estrogen is the key rising hormone for determining how you feel in this phase. Higher estrogen levels will make us feel like our energy is coming back. Testosterone also starts to rise at the end of this phase, leading into ovulation. So just a few days before your ovulation, you'll start to feel that confidence, which is what testosterone feels like. Explains a lot of men behavior. Testosterone feels like confidence, and it's rising. Other hormones on the rise at this point are your luteinizing hormone and your follicle stimulating hormone. So these are the two that are coming from the pituitary gland. They're triggered by your rising estrogen levels. And they're starting to rise, and this is what's actually helping your body create that egg, ripen it, all that good stuff. So you need those for sure, and you need that estrogen to trigger that feeling for you. So it's a good thing. And a lot of what we hear about estrogen is the bad stuff because we have too much of it. Generally, not everybody does, but a lot of women have just too much estrogen, so that's the problem. But we do need the estrogen because that's what triggers other things happening in our body. So we do need it. We just don't need a lot of it. All right. So then let's talk about what's happening elementally and energetically, yeah? So during the follicular phase, remember how the menstrual phase was our new moon phase? Well, this is the growing moon. It's also when you're coming out of yin and more yang energy. So you're coming out of that introverted energy into that extroverted energy. The testosterone and estrogen that are rising is pulling you into that more extroverted yang energy. So we're kind of leaving the yin behind, but not completely. One of the things, and I wrote this in the book, but one of the things that I really liked is that winning, ripening egg that's growing in one of your follicles looks just like a sprout emerging and uncoiling from the earth. So it's no surprise that this phase of your cycle is your spring and element wood phase, because it's a little sprout growing. Springtime is the time of growth. It's a new ring on your tree of life, so to speak, right? So each year a tree gets another growth ring in it. This is our wood phase. It's like we're growing our next ring in our life, our monthly rings. So this is our wood phase. It's a really good phase to ground, to get earthy, to start growing and rising. Pulling up out of the earth and into more of the sun, right? So we're moving up into the earth, or out of the earth and into the sun phase. So we're moving into that spring and wood energy. So that's the basics of your follicular phase. As always, please ask questions and let me know what's going on. You're welcome to do this in the comments. Again, this is all going into a playlist on my YouTube channel, so if you want to catch up on the videos really easily, head on over to my YouTube channel. It's The Period Coach, and feel free to subscribe, and then you'll get the whole playlist. You can get updates on the playlist, and then I'm going to send our lucky live viewers a copy of the Charting Mandala book, a digital version, so you can print it out and get started right away, and you don't have to worry about decontamination. But I'm going to send you guys who are here today, because we maxed out at 3 live anyway, so all of you, I'm going to send you a digital version of the mandala. I'm going to need your email addresses, so please shoot me an email to my inbox here on my business page. Just send me a message with your email address, and I will send you a copy of the Charting Mandala. I'll have to ask you a couple of questions, so I send you the right one for you, because, I'm not going to just send you a generic book. So shoot me a message. I'll ask you a couple of questions, and then I'll pop you over a version, the digital copy of the charting book. All right? Mwah. I love you guys. I will see you back here tomorrow. We've got an interview with Ian tomorrow, a lawyer who's a coach's heart-centered lawyer. So we're going to talk some really incredibly important information for especially anyone working in the health industry right now. Big deal. And then I'll be back for we'll actually be diving into the ovulation phase. So I'll see you back here tomorrow for a couple of lives. Mwah. Bye, guys.